Live, we're live. I think we're live. Um, Take a dab, hit a bowl or a joint. I'm trying to get Canadian Glen in here right now. It's probably going to take me a second, as always. Um, so yeah, that's how it goes. So yeah, today on the show we're going to be talking about a lot about police, kind of touching on what we touched on last week. So we're wondering why they're necessary and talking about some new developments, new wacky things these police have done. Um, we're going to talk about the gun control bill in Canada. Um, and we're going to talk about these Christian fascists that have been attacking gay and trans people at the Pride thing. Okay, I'm sending Glenn this invite. It takes a few minutes to get it through to him sometimes. So yeah, that's pretty much what we're going to be talking about. I'm going to take it down right now. Uh, yeah, I'll wait till Glenn comes in to talk about this because I did a crazy police filming the police this weekend. There was some crazy stuff that went on. So I think we'll start off there and then move on. Wait a minute, Glenn, are you here?
Yeah, you can mute if you're gonna prepare.
Well, something's going on. What's going on here?
Why?
Hang on. Is that better?
Oh, wow. My mic was only half
What?
plugged in. I didn't know until you talked and I heard you. So I don't know how that really sounded at the beginning right there.
Well, it worked for me. I heard it.
Okay, well, going straight through the phone because, as most of you know, to do spaces, you can't use the laptop sitting right here. You have to use the phone, which is really stupid.
Yep. Well, what's even more stupid is how, depending on the size of the space you're connected to and the type of device you're using, it's a certain amount of time before your device gets slowed down and the Twitter app freezes and you have no choice but to close it, wait for it to quit running around in your device processor, and then open it again. So, that's because Twitter just loves to packet the shit out of you when you're trying to use this part of their platform. But hey, it is what it is.
Yeah, I was just choking a lot. I heard what you said though. Woo. Yeah, I had a dilemma. My little, it looks like an old school NES, Nintendo Entertainment System controller, but you open it up and it holds wax inside, and it was stuck. I couldn't get to my wax. It was really frustrating, but I figured it out. Now I'm choking. So yeah, I don't know if anyone heard me. I ran through what we are going to talk about today real quick. Wow, apple gelato or apple fritter gelato, good stuff. Um, so yeah, we could start off with my incident this last weekend filming the police to kick it all off because that's going to kind of kick into what we're talking about with how useless and these police are and why do they move the way they move? Why do they send a million cops to everything unless it's important and they hide outside? So yeah, so I'm going to meet somebody and it's like maybe 10 o'clock, 9 or 10 at night. I don't know. I hit the corner. I see all these cop cars, and I see more flying in. They're coming. I have my radio on, so I scanner on, so I don't know what's going on. So I go. I bust a U-turn. I go and I park. Um, then I get out with my camera. I had my 360 camera, so that was awesome. And that's the only camera I had going. I didn't use my phone. So I get over there, and there's two cops. One's behind the car door with his hand on his gun. The other one got the green, the quote unquote less than lethal shotgun that shoots beanbag rounds or They shoot beanbag rounds, or, like rubber bullets or whatever. So he's standing there with the thing in both hands, like he's ready to shoot at any second. All these other cop cars are pulling up behind me. There's some dude in the bus stop cowering, looking like he's in terror of whatever's happening. So I don't. This is what I see when I'm coming up. And then now they're pulling up more and more cop cars. So there's like 7 cars now, like 13 cops all over the place. All of them got their guns ready to go. They're all like this some high thing. And I'm looking at what they're aiming at here. And it's this woman, the houseless woman, just in tears crying, "Leave me alone. Why are you doing this to me? I didn't do anything." No weapons on her, no nothing. She's just standing there like like kind of hunched over, like in terror. Just weeping, man, and screaming and crying. Not screaming at them, just like, like, "Oh, why?" So I'm like, "Are you really doing all this for this woman right here?" And then here come the head pig in charge. He's like, "Stand back, sir, for your own safety." I said, "Safety what? Are y'all just gonna shoot her for what? There's no reason. She's not even armed." I'm like, "You on camera, right?" So I start asking him stupid stuff, and then he realizes that I'm filming. After I said you're on camera, he goes and tells the dude with the green shotgun. He taps him on the shoulder. He goes and puts the green shotgun away. And all the cops start acting a little bit nicer. "We're here to help you," and this and that and whatever, right? But it's overkill. They swarm the whole block. So I'm arguing with these pigs, trying to get their attention on me off of her. Like, she's not a threat to anybody. She's terrified. So finally, this one little cop, the super midget, he comes over and he's just grilling me, like mad dogging me, like he want to kill me. He's all up in my face, just staring like the most gangster grill he could have. So I'm like, "You're not intimidating nobody, dude. You're just, you're tiny." I said, "If you didn't have that gun, the badge, the backup, and the qualified immunity, I'd knock you the hell out." So this little dude's an issue already. He's like all gung ho to hate me, which is fine because I hate him too. But then the head dude in charge, the captain or sergeant or whoever the hell he is, I don't know all their ranks. I should, but I don't. I don't care enough to know. He comes over and he says, he's just talking crap. I said, "Man, why do you need all these cops for this one woman?" I said, "That's overkill." I even said, because there was a day, we're going to talk about this in a minute. There was a day that all the cops went in the hospital. I said, "Man, there was a dude with a knife in the hospital. You sent a SWAT team to do what 2 cops could do." I said, I said, over at the school, y'all hit outside." He goes, "That wasn't us. We're not Texas police." I said, "You're the same thing, man." I said, "You send all these people out for this woman right here. There's not, you know what I mean? She's not a threat. You could just send 2 cops over here and talk to her." Eventually they let her go. But then here's the thing. This is the thing. So what happened was they let her go. I'm yelling at him like, "You don't need all this," because you need to, if you have a problem with how we're doing this right now, you need to talk to the person who called us. And he points at the dude that's cowering under the the bus stop. Like, he's in the bus stop. It's one of the actual few ones that have a shelter over it we still have. And he's in like a fetal position on the ground with 2 little dogs with him. And he's just weeping. Like, I'm like, "What did they do to this guy?" He don't want to talk to nobody. I asked him, I said, "Are you okay? Did the cops do something to you?" So anyway, they blocked off the whole street. So they flagged the bus to go. So the guy waiting on the bus was cursing them out too. Like, "How are you going to make me miss my bus? Now I got to wait another hour for a bus. This is BS, right?" So I'm talking major crap to these pigs. The other pig, they finally cleared out. And that one that was mad dogging me and grilling me, he's with this woman pig. And they're sitting there staring at me. And the other 2 pigs are talking to the guy that called them. I think something was wrong with that dude. Um, like, I don't know, man. He was way bigger than this woman. He said something about, she said she was gonna do something to him, and that was enough to call all these police in. Like, she didn't do anything. She didn't have any weapons. You know what I mean? So yeah, I guess it was the equivalent of she walked by and said, "I'm gonna snatch your dog or I'm gonna beat you up or something," and then he flipped out and called 911 and got a whole nation of pigs to show up ready to kill somebody. And then I go back and I'm clowning this the dude that was he's just sitting there watching me. So I said, if he gonna watch me, I'm gonna film him and talk crap. And now I got a bunch of my homies is just showing up because they seen all this going on. So they're just laughing and clowning too. Some other homies I don't even know was in the car just sitting there watching the whole thing. And then this dude comes over from across at the 7-Eleven. A houseless dude. I've seen him around a couple of times. He's this black cat. He seemed pretty cool up until that night. He goes, you know why there's crime in this city? I was like, because they don't do their job. I said, because of poverty. I'm just naming it. He goes, no, because of ignorant assholes like you. He goes, if these police were gone, it would be Mad Max over here in 30 days. I'm like, no, man, it don't work like that. I said, you can stop bootlicking. And then the thing was, he started to try to act like he was gonna rush me, and the cops was cool. And then I stepped up, and they looked like they're gonna do something, like tackle me if I go over to him. But he can walk around their car looking all tough, getting all, you know what I mean? So I'm like, why don't we just wait till they leave, tough guy, whatever. And I'm like, I don't even want to have a problem with you because I know your situation, man. Just do what you want to do. I said, when these pigs leave, however you want to go, we'll go that route. He's like, yeah, whatever. He's talking all this crap. So I look at the cop. I'm like, basically, like, are you happy you got a cheerleader over there? And the dude got mad. He started to come around again. I said, man, wait till the pigs leave. But yeah, then the pigs left finally. And that dude kept the other one sat there and stared at me for like 5 more minutes. And I said, man, I got all night. That he drove off. He thought he was holding me up or something. And then I go to that dude. I'm like, what's up, man? So the police are gone. You can tell me anything you want to tell me right now. And he walks the other side of the 7-Eleven. So I told him, I'm like, look, homie, I come here all the time. And when 7-Eleven in here calls the police because you're loitering outside and they just get tired of it, I'll be here to make sure the police don't whoop your ass. And he kept walking away. I don't know. I guess he felt threatened by me or whatever because I talked a lot of crap in front of the police. But I think he was just ignorant. You know what I mean? Because people in his situation, I've seen him come and cuff him sitting on the curb, running for all kinds of stuff for nothing, just for standing out the 7-Eleven want to call because they don't got nowhere else to go. You know what I mean? It's a safe place. It's got a shelter over it, shade, whatever. Why wouldn't you want to go there if you have nowhere else to go? But anyway, so yeah, they sent all these cops again for this one woman. I forgot to hit the record button on my GoPro, by the way. I was really furious when I saw the whole situation. So I guess we're not going to see that one, but who cares? I'm just now releasing stuff I've had. People keep saying you should release the police videos. And I'm like, well, yeah, I just have to get to it. It's a lot easier just to live stream them and they're up. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, of course that's a lot easier. But I don't know, man. There's just a lot of strange circumstances, you know? Like this dude who's houseless, who starts saying that the cops are needed.
I've
Like,
had a dude threaten to stab me for talking crap about the police. He's like, leave them alone. He even had a knife.
that's
He
really
he had a
weird.
knife in his hand, and I was like, he's one of this dude, not this dude from the last time. He's just an ignorant cat, don't know no better. And I was thinking, part of me was thinking maybe he was saying that so the police don't mess with him. You know what I mean? It's like, man, I stood up for you.
Yeah, trying to suck up.
I mean, because he's on the streets. He got to deal with them whenever they show up and want to mess with him. So, I mean, and part of me can understand that. It wouldn't be my choice, but some people feel like it's better just to kiss their ass and try not to get as harassed and messed up by him. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I don't know. The dude who called, I think, was mentally ill somehow or something because that he wasn't acting right. Who curls up in a ball from some woman that's half your size, holds your dogs and weeps? It's just. Yeah, I think something was wrong with him, or he's on some serious drugs. I don't know. But he seemed like a dude with money and the dogs he had were like $5,000 dogs. People steal them all the time. My homies got some. They cost like that's like $5,000 for these dogs. He had brand new. Dude had money. He wasn't houseless. The dude that called the police. Um, but yeah, it's just dangerous, man. People call the police for little stupid things, and then someone's life's in danger. I really think if I didn't show up, I don't know what would happen to her. They let her go, man. They didn't cuff her. They didn't do nothing. They surrounded me for a while. The cop said he's going to arrest me if I didn't back to the asphalt. I backed to the asphalt. He says, I told you you had to back up to the parking lot. I said, no, you said the asphalt, and the asphalt starts here. I meant the parking lot. Well, I don't give a dang what you meant. He goes, you're about to get arrested if you don't move back to the parking lot. So I cursed him out, then moved back when he looked like he had enough. It's just, they're just always on that power trip, man. I was like, I'm 10 feet away. I'm more than 10 feet away from this cop right here. I'm glad I didn't push it because thinking my camera was running, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, but this
But hey,
this ties into stuff. But go ahead. I've been talking nonstop. Just let's hear what you got to say, then we'll move on.
well, I mean, this is the thing about, I mean, I don't have any real world experience in this type of shit. But I mean, there's just so many different dynamics going on at the same time. And the only thing that's consistent is, the police are going to show up with overwhelming force and a shit attitude. It seems like that's the only consistent in every one of these situations. And then all the random factors are, who are they harassing? Who is supposedly committing the crime or whatever? Then you got the stands. Then you got the other people who just want everybody to get the fuck away from them. I mean, it's such a confusing environment. And, I don't know how anybody can predict what happens every time this plays out. Because, isn't this exactly how people end up dead? Because the cops push it, and then it's almost like they just wait to see who is going to have the worst reaction to what they're provoking. And then it's like, okay, well, here's our paperwork for this shift. Let's go. It just seems so forced, so ridiculous. But, again, billable hours.
Yeah. Well, that's why I brought that up. Because like everyone knows, there was a shooting in Tulsa at the hospital, right? 4 people died. I didn't see any number on how many were injured, but they said there were multiple people injured as well.
Yeah.
That was in Tulsa. Dude walked in with a gun. He was pissed off with a doctor and their assistants and shot him up. It wasn't random. It was targeted. It was like a dispute. You know what I mean? Something like that. So,
Well, the issue was this guy insisted that the doctor was responsible for his pain. So,
okay.
of course, the logical thing to do about that is kill the doctor. Like, what the fuck, man?
He heard jail got free medical.
Well, I guess he's going for the long-term plan then. Let's commit a murder. Let's not steal anything.
He killed himself or the cops shot him? I don't know. He's dead, right?
Yeah, he's dead.
I know he was a black dude, so I figured he was dead. Okay, so another hospital in Encino. This is just this last week too. What I assume was a mentally ill man came in for treatment. Something happened. Maybe he just flipped out. Maybe there was a dispute. I don't know. I'm going by what all the media said, so it might just be some dude that was mad because something happened. I don't know. But anyway, he pulled a 3-inch knife out and stabbed 3 people. All of them lived. The hospital staff locked him in a closet. Okay, now he's in a closet. No, he can't hurt anybody. He's got a 3-inch knife. He can maybe carve his way out in a day or two, depending on what the door's made of. I don't know. So instead of just sending 2 cops or 4 cops, to be generous, with some shields, some pepper spray, and some batons, spray the room, jump in like they do in a jail cell, right? Basically, that's the situation. He's in a little closet. That's the equivalent of a jail cell. They do that all the time without killing people. You know what they do? They send in a full SWAT team to stand outside the door and negotiate with him for an hour before they bust the door open and use a top secret classified weapon that disables part of his body or something. That's what the media said. I don't know. Sounds like a stun gun to me. But I'm wondering if sending these SWAT teams out and all these like 90 cops for everything, that's not even, one cop could have handled that woman. A woman cop could have pulled up by herself and handled that situation with the woman right there. But they sent all these armed cops ready, gung-ho, ready to shoot, acting like little gang-banging thugs, mad dogging people. That's what they send out. They're trying to justify these mass budgets, I think. And somebody on, I think it was Twitter sent me, I don't know who it was. If I did, I would give you credit, but you know who you are. Said the reason they're sending these SWAT teams out is because they're trying to justify getting the secondhand military stuff. And that made sense to me. I didn't think about that part. I was thinking just about the budgets. So yeah, shout out to whoever said that.
Well, I mean, it's definitely part of their strategy to always deploy as much force as they can possibly get away with, because it works for them. It works for them because then they can go back and say, look at the costs. Look how much protecting society costs. And then there's the issue of more free goodies from the Pentagon. There's the issue of the force projection. I mean, this is something that just doesn't get talked about enough. When there is just some little bullshit incident. I mean, every time I watch your videos, the same thing hits me right away. It's like, where do all these cops appear from? What the fuck are they doing otherwise? For 1 or 2 people who are pissed off and making noise on an open street with no weapons, and you get 5 or 6 cars full of cops show up. And then maybe 2 of them deal with the person who's the issue, and the rest of them all face the rest of the public. Because they're here. They're in charge. Now, the message that sends to whether it's somebody in a bus that goes by and they see it, or it's somebody in a neighboring business, or it's somebody walking to the store that has no idea what's going on, the message is, don't fuck around. Because this is what you're going to get. You know? It's just societal intimidation. And it's just the way they do things. And I don't know how that's ever going to change, but it's not an accident. It's not because it's necessary. It's the way they want to do business. And, you know,
I'm hearing a lot of bad things about Canadian bacon too. It's a world problem. It's not just a U.S. problem, but the U.S. Pigs are more militarized, and not as militarized as some other places, I guess. But if you're not supposed to be a quote unquote third world nation, then we live in a police state. If we don't live in a police state, we're pretty damn close to one.
Well, I mean,
But
that's the
yeah,
other thing too. I mean, you look at the mainstream news and shit like this, you look at the cops, the way they behave in places like the Philippines and Brazil and Chile. And, there's a background assumption in the way the news about those things is presented that, yeah, the cops over there are assholes. The cops over there are just looking for an excuse to run people who have next to fuck all through the system. It's an obey or else over there. But there's no detail. There's no comparison, because if there was, most of the time it would be pretty apparent that whatever's happening on the street in Rio or in Manila or in Santiago is the same shit that happens in the backyard, on the streets in America every day, and it gets blown up by police the same way. But because those countries are bad, what their cops are doing is bad. But this is America.
yeah.
We're just, you know,
I think it's a scale, Glenn. I think it's a scale that goes from police, which is bad, to soldier, which is worse. You know what I mean? And all the cops are on that scale to how close to soldier they are. And the more closer to soldier they are, the more brutal they're treating the people in the streets of wherever they're at. Like, didn't some Canadian RCMP pig like not investigate car running through some native people while shooting some other native guy out in Canada? Just recently, I was reading something about that.
well, well, just going back to the U.S. stuff for a minute. Again, it's a pattern, and it's more than a pattern. It's a strategy. It's you talk about the dividing line between policing and being a soldier. Well, like we've talked about this numerous times, the percentage of metropolitan police in the U.S. that are veterans of the military, of the infantry, is higher and higher all the time. And it's much easier and much more advantageous for command of the police to just basically say, okay, well, you're not wearing camo anymore. You're not wearing olive drab. You're wearing black. But it's business as usual. And you're patrolling the green zone. You're patrolling Kandahar. It's the same shit. And you just can't have millions of young men go through the military system and then come home and need a job. Well, the government's not going to pay to put them all through college like the GI Bill did 2 generations ago. Fuck that. That costs money. Forget it. Just make them cops. We already trained them how to do that. That's the shitty part. But as far as the RCMP goes, the regressive colonial maximum police, this is just absolutely nothing new. I mean, every time they fuck up, all this shit gets pulled out, and they have administrations say, oh yeah, we've got to do better, and we're going to change, and we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Nothing ever changes. Now, as far as the issue goes in Mission, BC, where that happened, it was a march about the deaths at residential schools. And like we've seen numerous times, numerous places, just like Charlottesville, this is some white motherfucker who didn't feel like waiting. That's it.
But it was a cop, though, wasn't it? Or no, the cops would investigate it. That's what it was.
Well, the police explanation was it was merely a motorist who was impatient. That was it. As far as they're concerned, that's the entire incident. So 4 people get hit with a vehicle, and the driver of that vehicle had time to tell them all to go fuck themselves and to deliver
Wow.
racist remarks.
Oh, okay.
So, oh yeah, he was just impatient. Yeah, it's ridiculous. And of course, you can guess the racial makeup of the two sides of this story, and also guess the racial makeup of the RCMP. So, I mean, and this is in Mission, BC, where this shit has been going on for years with resource development, trespassing on native land, etc., etc. So, I mean, again, this is just, fuck you, we're in charge, this is the way shit's always been, and we're determined to make sure it remains as it always was.
Yeah.
Then they get called out and they bitch and complain that things are being exaggerated, and we should get a break. It's so hard to do our job. Well, again, it's like the same old thing. When cops sit in their car and watch fascists attack people of color, or as we'll get to later, fascists attack people of different orientations, that's not enforcing. That's creating a habitual playbook. And, the bottom line is cops always insist in their public relations that they are there to enforce the law. Well, when you start deciding who's worthy of having the law enforced on their behalf, then you're no longer a cop. You're a fucking goon who decides who can do what.
Yeah, the goons anyway. But yeah, that's my thing. It's like it's at scale, and even within the United States, different cities and different departments have police that are higher on the soldier scale, moving up towards soldier. LAPD is definitely one of them. NYPD would probably be one. Probably all the big cities. You know what I mean? And even some mid-sized cities. But then you hear about these little towns in the middle of nowhere that have like tanks and stuff. The police department got all this military gear and SWAT teams, and it's like a town of 300 people or something. So yeah, it's ridiculous. It's not neat. It's not necessary.
No, absolutely not. But I mean, again, this is just a different scale of what we're seeing in the Ukraine right now. I mean, the Pentagon has all this old stock. And of course, they want new shit. They want better shit. But they can't get it unless they move this stuff off their shelves. So it's a hand-me-down situation. It's not like all these police departments suddenly got together and said, hey, we need all this. You guys got all this military shit sitting around. Why don't you give it to us? We could really use it. That's not how it started at all. It started from the top down. It started with the Pentagon going to Congress and saying, hey, why don't you guys take a look at this? We'd like to pass all this shit on because, we got to make room because we want new toys. And we got to get rid of all this stuff. Otherwise, you guys aren't going to approve new toys because we already got an overflowing toy box of stuff we don't want to play with anymore. And then it got to the point where the police departments were like, this is free. And okay, sure, whatever, we'll take it. We get to project more power to demand more compliance. And we don't even have to use it for anything. We don't even have to learn how to use it correctly. We'll just leave it where people can see it. We'll drive it around once in a while. We'll run it through a neighborhood where people have been bothering us. Just, to get the message across.
That's this unnecessary. It's ridiculous.
Well, of course
These
it is.
cats, these cats' budgets are ridiculous, and I don't know why more people aren't. I mean, you can see. Just look out. Look outside. Look to the side when you see them pulling people over, and they got three cop cars because they pulled over a black dude. Man, This is the thing. I got all these videos I'm going through trying to drop them on YouTube because I'm been lazy for all these years. But anyway, there's somebody got stabbed. The dude that stabbed him ran away. The dude that got stabbed, I think I think he got the ambulance, just wrapped him up and stuff. Like it wasn't that bad. It was like a little bit of blood and stuff, but it's over. You know what I mean? Somebody
Yeah.
called the police, and now you got a nation blocking off the whole street. You think it was like a murder scene of some mass shooting. There's like 15, 20 cop cars blocking everything off, and cops everywhere searching people's stuff randomly. It's just crazy. Some woman called the police that was she lived in a house because she was sitting there talking to him forever and ever and ever. I didn't watch the whole video again. I'm just kind of from memory of when it happened a little while back. But see, my point is the stabbing was over and the police came. There was a shooting. Someone got shot. They weren't dead. They got hit in the leg. The police came, but the shooting was over. They'd already got shot. You know what I mean? You got all these cops show up like they're ready for war, but it's over. I
But
just
they
don't
have,
understand. They don't stop anything, man. All they do, like, okay, once in a blue moon, they might just be lucky. They show up afterwards and file reports and harass a lot of people generally.
but that's how they justify their costs. I mean,
So, remember I told you a couple of weeks ago I was gonna, maybe a month or two ago, actually, now I'm thinking of it, I had a video of a white dude on Melrose, which is an upper kind of rich place. This dude is kind of like a probably a little rich kid, or at least an upper middle class kind of kid, ODing on something. But I said I couldn't find the video, but when I did find it, I'd release it so you could see the difference. How the police didn't cuff him and throw him in the police car while they waited for the ambulance. And I found it. It was on another video, so I just put it out. But yeah, the police watched a lot of videos. You'll see somebody's going through something, a mental episode, a drug situation, even some mental, even actual health crises. The cops will come, put them in cuffs, put them in the car. And they do this to houseless people. But people with homes, probably a nicer home, I'm just guessing, they just stand around and wait for the ambulance while his friend slaps him in the face and stuff. And at one point, I think the one cop said, "What kind of drugs did you do?" And then they didn't answer. And I was like, that's probably good they didn't answer because that gives her ammunition. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's like the whole nother world. It was just two cops for that. They didn't send a whole nation of cops or anything. But yeah, the reason I didn't find the video, Glenn, was because it was on the I was filming a sheriff pull somebody over. And then as soon as that was over, the LAPD passed and went to another call right there on the same, like a half a block away. So it didn't look like the video when you first watch it. It looks like a whole nother stop. That's why. But that doesn't matter. What matters is they treat people way different, man. And when they show up, everything's over generally. And when something's still going on, as we've seen, they hide outside until it's over, basically.
well, I mean, this is just part of the doctrine, I mean,
But I'm
everybody
saying
likes.
people see this. Why aren't we all enraged that they get these kind of budgets out of our tax dollars, money that could be going to solve real problems instead of putting army platoons on our streets? That's my point. The people don't think about this. They see it every day. They gotta know it's overkill.
Yeah, but there's a tipping point. And I think in a lot of American cities, the tipping point has already been passed. There are too many people that simply don't want to be the next target of their own police. They don't want to stand out. They don't want to get noticed. And the reality is,
Man, they can't target us all.
well, not yet, but they plan on it.
I
But,
mean, they can, but I mean, it's like if everybody just be like, we're not dealing with this. No way, no how. Stop taking our money for this crap. You're making us pay for our own abuse. You're making
yes,
us pay for the murder of our families and friends and neighbors. You're making us pay this money to murder people when we can pay this money to help people.
but
Yeah,
that's
man.
but that's the whole that's the whole allure of the game when it's not presented that that is an alternative. When it's presented that this is the way shit is, that it's human nature, that there are people out there more and more all the time that see something go down, see the absolute overuse of force for what's involved, and it's human nature that people are going to say, well, I don't know who that poor bastard is, but he's the one who's taking their attention. So I'll just keep going on my way. Better him than me. And that's an attitude that once that gets to be a part of everyday life in a society, that's when you're really in trouble. That's when the cops know that they can do whatever the fuck they want. And most likely, unless they really, really fuck it up, they can get away with it. And it works for them. It works for them on an administrative level because they can supposedly prove that they are a necessary service and they always need more money. It works on a field level standard because then they can decide what's allowed and what's not in their patrol area. Fuck what the law says. I mean, compliance is death sooner or later. And more people are finding that out all the time. Well, not only is compliance death, but when it gets too one-sided, protesting, the stranglehold is much more riskier. Again, just like we talk all the time, like we'll get to it, but as far as what happened with people actually coming out and saying that they are Christian fascists and they are there to take certain people's rights away, where are the cops? Why aren't the cops there?
The cops are there. I've seen pictures of
Yeah,
it. The cops are protecting the Christian fascists that are going around
there you go.
threatening people, man.
There
It's
you go.
really like what? I don't know, man. It's like why would you even do that? This one dude was chasing people down the street screaming groomer at him. Like what's wrong with these people, man? Like I think some of them really believe all this twisted stuff. I thought it was just a little, a ploy kind of like we're gonna call them pedos because they're the worst people on earth and we hate them. But I think some of them really believe that like it's a real ass conspiracy theory. I know it's cute, but I mean, I don't know. to just believe that a whole entire group of people is harming children and a whole bunch of other wacky things. They always, it's, you know what it is? It's they always gotta have a group to go after.
Of course.
You know, it's like, oh, mixed race marriages, women, um, black people, immigrants, Asian people. It's just never the white, oh, Muslims. It's never the white Christians though. And it's definitely never the male white Christians. If all else fails, it's going to be those dang white Christian women.
But that's how fascism works. There
Yeah, but
is
it's
no
just so,
fascism. There is no fascism without the them part of it.
yeah, but it's just so crazy. Like, why would you spend your whole life constantly thinking about what people do privately? You know what I mean? Like that tells me, like I said before, it tells me more about them people than it does them. But the thing that they're kind of throwing that whole pedophile thing out at everybody, and you keep seeing people within their group getting caught for that. It seems to
Yeah.
me like if they was genuine about it, they clean their own house before. I mean, because doesn't their book say something about don't look at the speck in your brother's eye when you got a plank in your own eye, something to that effect, right? Judge not, lest ye shall be judged. All that stuff, man. But they don't. That does goes out the window with this.
Well, I mean, just the term. They put those two words together, Christian and fascist.
Well,
That's,
religion is fascist by nature. Not by
well,
nature, but that's the way it was designed. It's for control.
that's the way it is practiced. But yet, if you read the so-called scripture, the so-called what these people base their whole existence on, it doesn't say that at all. None of the major religions does, but yet
The Bible
there's
does.
there's no shortage of idiots who are willing to go along with it. Why? Because it fits what they want to hear.
I
It's
think what it
just,
is.
it's
Oh, go ahead.
confirmation bias.
Yeah, but the problem is within that same book, it's contradictory. It talks about murdering certain groups of people, and they fish through and find the groups they want. They're not going to murder their unruly children, obviously, but hating gay people fits it. Um, I mean, they'll quote it, but they don't. They're going to either take all the goodness from it, you know, from one part of it, or they're going to take all the terrible racist bigotry from it. That's how religious books are. They're kind of ambiguous. You could go in and pretty much get whatever you want and justify any position through them, through the way you interpret them. You know what I mean? So yeah, I just think that's a whole nother topic for another day though. But these people are dangerous, man. I mean, some of them I think are out there just to get likes for their ultra right wing fascist followers with their phones. But some of these people are like, why are you going into a gay area and go to a gay bar when you hate gay people? Why don't you just stay home and let them do whatever they want to do? You want trouble. You know what I mean? Go
Yeah,
out there
they want,
instigating. And they all and you notice when these protesters show up, these cats is always around the police. They make sure they buy the police when they doing the foul stuff, so they got backup, they got protection. Because there's been actual regular anti-fascist protesters out there fighting these cats off so people can have a nice time doing their celebration, right? It's just why go there, man? Why
because
would
they
you go
can.
there? But that just says you're instigating this.
Of course they are. But that's it. That's their whole MO. You know, there is no fascism without a them. And it's spin the wheel for who the them is today.
Man, I thought Steve Shagwell was in here. Might be tripping. Anyway, um, I was thinking about Steve Shagwell because we did a show and there was a segment. It's somewhere in the on the YouTube channel. It's called what is it called? Glenn? Something oh, gay sex is happening or something like that. And the whole point of it was like nobody cares. Like the the fabric of all reality isn't going to collapse. Society isn't going to crumble because people want to be gay or trans or are gay or trans. I didn't mean it want to be like that, but I mean people want to live their lives however they want to live their lives. It doesn't fundamentally change anything. So why don't these people just go live their lives, go to their churches, do whatever, and let their deity judge if they picked it, if they made the right choice, then their deity will judge those people accordingly, right? They don't have to worry about it. They could just go play some video games and smoke a bowl or something and chill out. They don't got to be over there antagonizing and trying to fight people just for being themselves that aren't hurting anybody.
Well, I think this is a demonstrable difference between the words believer and follower. Now, there are people who believe in whatever they get out of their religion, and they understand live and let live. They
Yeah,
understand turn the other cheek. They're believers. It's the followers that you have to look out for because they hear something and it sounds good to them, but they don't really get it. So I'll listen to these people to tell me
yeah,
what I believe. And those are the people that are the tools. They are the cannon fodder. They are the people who will quite willingly do the dirty work because for some perverse reason they think it is their quote unquote duty. And, again, there are useful idiots in every operation, no
well,
matter what it involves.
it's like a persecution complex they have. They're always quote unquote under attack. It's like, oh, Starbucks changed the color of their cups because they're attacking us. It's always something like they're after us. Pretty soon they won't be able to do anything. They won't let us teach Bible stories in public schools. How? Why? It's fact. And actually, that's what they want. They want to indoctrinate the children with their crap. I suspected, I don't know, this might be weird, but I suspect some of these people, like a lot of these people that don't want their kids to be taught history, especially any kind of black history or anything about slavery or anything about genocide of native people, is because I think like the internet's big now and they got relatives that's in pictures probably in lynchings and terrible things. I'm wondering if some of it comes down to that kind of stuff. And they got things where people could look up their ancestors and stuff and, find out that they were like slave owners and terrible, horrible people. So maybe if you don't teach that, they'll just love America and Jesus and shut the hell up and won't ask too many questions about the past.
Well, again, that's confirmation bias. I mean, I want the world to be this way. Oh, look, that person agrees. or that person is pushing what I want to hear. Well, that's the person I support. It's got nothing to do with logic. It's got nothing to do with facts. It sounds good. It's just a different level of what brand of beer do you drink? You know, I mean,
Yeah.
this is something that has been going on for hundreds of years now. Oh, you know, it's just like the Rolling Stones, Satisfaction. He can't be a man because he doesn't smoke the same cigarettes as me. And now it's just applied across the board. And because of technology and the internet, it's so easy to do it. You know, it's just like we've talked about. You can buy 10,000 email addresses for $5 and you can spam them all. And if you get a 1% return rate for your scam, it's obviously worth it. You know, I mean, it's just so easy to find the lowest hanging fruit to do your dirty business, to give you money for nothing, to push something that is ridiculous. People are such willing idiots. But as long as they think they're righteous, that's all that matters. That's good enough for them because I'm on the right side because I want to be on the right side. That's not a logical conclusion. That's just a personal preference. And there's nothing out there to use a fucked up word. There's nothing out there to police this interpretation. Because if you want to believe this and you got some money to give to the cause, you're right. We agree with you. Donate today. And we will defend you against all these other people who are not with us.
Yeah, the scary thing about it is now you got these people, you always have, but their wackadoo is showing because it's the internet, man. It's the internet. It's people chasing clout, even politicians. But yeah, the thing is they got people in high positions that are in that same cult kind of mentality, you know.
They're enabling it.
The people, yeah, and some of them are even crazier than these cats.
Yep.
Well, I don't know. I mean, not all of these cats will bring. Well, one of them was. Yeah, they bring all their religion into it and everything. Like, why don't you just go and pray for the people? Why you gotta
There's no
go and
money in that.
assault people and chase them? Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I know. They said any idiot can get a podcast, and then I said, "Have you heard our show?" No. Yeah, that's true because these people are all monetized out there, and they're big within their incel Nazi scumbucket circles.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I look at some of these things and it's like it'll just be terrible memes that are just bigoted against gay people or trans people, and then all these people putting Bible verses, amen, and this and that, and this wouldn't happen if Trump was still here, and it just goes down the line. Jesus would come back today. They're gonna burn it up like Sodom and Gomorrah. Did they start posting verses about, you know, killing gay people? It's really sick, man. It's like why I don't know, man. It just seems like why would you worry about something that's not harming anybody and that's your main focus on your mind all the time? Like
Well,
all I do all day and all night is think about gay dudes. Just can't stand them gay dudes. Man, those gay dudes. I wake up, eat breakfast. I hate gay dudes as I eat my sausage. You know, and be like, I don't know, man. It just seems weird to me. Like that's
well,
Why do you hate somebody that much that doesn't affect you in any way?
Well, I think Shakespeare applies here. Methinks he doth protest too much.
And in some cases, yeah, probably quite a few of them. We've seen it. But then there's other cats that just hate them. They just hate a certain group for no reason.
Well, because they're afraid. I mean, this is the other thing.
Of what?
Whatever. It doesn't matter. They're afraid, they're motivated. Fear is a very, very effective motivator. So, this is just it. If you want people to part with their time for nothing, if you want people to part with their money basically for nothing, the easiest way to do it is scare them.
Man, they need to they need to come up with another game, man. It just harms people.
But
I
they're
mean,
making out. That's all that
yeah,
matters.
but what's gonna happen is you're gonna have some kind of tragedy. There's already been a lot of tragedies. You need to just let people live their lives. And I don't know how to make this happen. I mean, look at this. It's they hate this dude goes into a store in a black neighborhood and shoot and murder a bunch of people because he hates black people. Why don't you just stay home? If you hate black people so much, just live in your little white neighborhood. You know, why do you have to go out your way to harm people and attack people and stalk people? I'm just saying these cats here have followings. The ones that's out there harassing and doing it for the clout and probably for dollars. Um, and those followers, some of them are psychos. And
Well, of
just
course they are.
it's this whole Andy No thing over again. You know, they're basically setting up targets like, oh, we're here at this gay place where a lot of gay people go. You
Well, I
know,
mean, this
and
is
then those
something else.
cats, their followers remember this, and then they got violent people going to harm people that are just trying to live their lives. Because why? Because they're different than you. Because your magic book says they should be not be alive. You know what I mean? Your magic book says that's one of the worst, terriblest things you can do. Who cares?
Well, this is
Go.
something else that the media is infamous for. The faces change, but the overall strategy doesn't. And it just cycles through. I mean, if you step back and look at, say, even the last 5 or 6 years, all these loudmouths that get a ridiculous amount of infamy just for the idiotic shit that comes out of their mouth, but they come and they go. But the base methods of generating unfounded fear never leave. I mean, go back. You said Andy No. Well, he's kind of faded away. You go back further. Milo, yeah, go fuck yourself. Where's he these days? He finally went too far. And it's like, okay, we got as much mileage out of this clown as we need. Fuck him. He's out. And then there's always somebody new to step up to carry on the bullshit and to generate money going forward.
I suspect a lot of them, they believe their ideologies, but
No, they don't. They
could,
believe in their bank account increasing.
well, that's what I was going to say. I was going to say, but they would change a lot of stuff up if the money was right. You see what I'm saying?
Of course.
But I mean, how powerful does it feel that you can like target some people and know they're going to get beat up or killed maybe, or you sit there and play victim all day online, like, oh, someone hit me with a silicone rod, someone threw a cement milkshake at me. I'm always in danger from my life as you're hiding out in another country, living, you know, free and clear. well, reporting on stuff going on here and basically doxing people, putting them in danger. And these are just smaller versions of that, man. I don't know the size of these people. I've seen some of these people before that were in the videos, assaulting gay people at the Pride thing, but it's like, I don't know. And then you got Andy Ngo and these other people that are like, oh, the anti-fascist gay people and trans people attack a peaceful preacher. And of course, they cut out the part when he's rushing the group and, going crazy, chasing people down, calling them pedophiles, groomers, whatever. They cut that out and make it look all. It's so stupid, man. It's all for clicks. It's all for clout. It's all for money.
Yeah.
And it's dumb. And it's going to get somebody else hurt and killed. And it's already got a lot of people hurt and killed.
But that's the whole point. It's somebody else. And
I mean,
as
go film
long
the
as
police. Why don't you go there and film the police and make sure they're not assaulting anybody? There's something you can do if you're going to go to a festival and a celebration. Make sure the police doesn't hurt the people celebrating. Now you're keeping, you're protecting people's rights. See, that's better than going around and instigating.
But
This
that's
one
not
guy. Go
gonna
ahead.
make me money. That's not gonna make me famous. That's what it's all about. That's where these people's root motivation is. What's in it for me? And
Yeah,
we've
that's
seen
real.
it. We've seen it time and time and time again. It's just on a different level of scale. Whether it's somebody who wants to become like a leader in their neighborhood, like something along the lines of guardian angels or bullshit like that, like fucking Sliwa did fucking 30 years ago now, which is just to spread street level fascism, or whether it's somebody like Joe Rogan or Andy Ngo or Based Fuckstick or any of these clowns or Ali
Yeah.
Alexander, all
Or
these clowns.
Sebastian Gorka.
Dr. Sebastian Gorka. But it's
Yeah,
all
man.
based on the same thing. It's just a matter of scale. How can I get ahead using these people to elevate me? Truth and consequence have nothing to do with it. This is my game. You fuckers help me. That's what it's all about. And again, with confirmation bias and fascist fear mongering, there's no shortage. I tweeted the
Man.
other day, it's really depressing how all this technology has only made the populace dumber, not smarter.
See, that's the thing. I heard the Pride thing was gonna happen. I think it was in Hollywood or whatever. And I was like groovy. And then they were talking about police go and harass people there. So I was thinking, I wonder if I should go and film police there. And I said, no, you know what? It's a celebration. Hopefully the police, because they were talking about they're gonna keep the police out and stuff. So I'm like, good, maybe they'll just keep them, on the perimeters or something, and they'll leave people alone. I didn't know there was going to be these weirdo fascists running through there, assaulting and attacking people. Like, I think and people said it was going to happen, but I just didn't think it was going to be like I've seen. They're in little groups targeting, going in, and then when they get pushed out, they say, oh, we look like the victim. And they'll send like people of color in first from their little religious organization. So then they'd be like, look, these gay people hate non-white people. The gay people or the trans people are attacking non-white people. It's just, yeah, it's like this whole victim game. And then they put, that's how they frame it. Like these people are racist attacking non-white people trying to go into a gay bar. Well, no, you're a bunch of Christians going in, fascists going in, trying to instigate people. It's like somebody brought up this video to me and I hadn't seen the video. And it was they said, man, two white dudes were in a college. America's getting really terrible and racist. I said, I know. And they go, yeah, two white dudes were in a college and all the black kids came and kicked them out of the room and said it wasn't a place for white kids and they weren't allowed to stay in there. I said, that seems weird. I said, where's the video? They couldn't find the video. Then later I saw the video. These two white dudes wearing a Trump hat, one that says a Blue Lives Matter shirt with the police logo, holding Chick-fil-A. And, I mean, they got it like, you know what I mean? And they go up in this, I think it's a black gay student center or something.
Well, this is
And
just it.
and
This
they
is
set up,
just
I'm
it.
like, come on. And then they start playing victim, like, you're really going to kick us out just because we were white? Come on, man. You know what you was doing. They knew exactly, and they was filming it. You know what I mean? So they were ready. They were trying to do some little stupid stunt.
Yeah, but this is nothing new. This is Project Veritas. This is James O'Keefe bullshit.
Oh, is that who shot? I thought it was just some random
No, but
students.
it's the same fucking thing.
Oh yeah,
But the
yeah, yeah.
point is, there's a market for it. That's the problem. There
There's a
are
market. The religion.
millions. There are millions of fucking idiots out there that are convinced they are the victim. They get up in the
Exactly.
morning, they are the victim. And it's confirmation bias. This guy says what I think. He's right. That's not how shit works, you fucking morons.
The marketing of false victimhood or something.
Exactly. And there's good money in it. Damn good money. So, again, I mean, this is the thing. And nobody wants to talk about it who has any audience or authority to change the model because they all use it. It's really no different on the other side for a lot of people who are here for the money. We talk about some of our favorite posers like
Well,
Young Turks, like DNC, like all these groups.
well, here's the other part that we didn't talk about that we probably should real quick is along with the people that are live streaming, there's a little group of protesters with them or a church group or something. And these cats got nothing other than ideology and brainwashing and um, um, you know, they're just ready to go and do whatever God's will is basically in their mind, which is harassing and maybe hurting people, instigating. So you got these people in there too. It's not just the people making money. There's the ones that really believe these people are all pedophiles and they're all coming for their kids and stuff. And it's like the followers, like you said before, that are following their leaders who have political agendas.
Yeah, but it's all the same. I mean, whether you've got some private in the US Army with an IQ of 55 who enlisted to stay out of prison, or whether you've got some religious idiot who's living in the 1920s who's afraid of progress. It's the same model of authority. These people who are executing the ideas because they just, that's their
Well,
job.
the thing is, they're going to have it again next weekend, I think. At least that's what the news said. I think they have it every weekend, maybe. So I'm wondering if people need to be on alert, you know, close by, waiting somewhere to protect the people, and maybe some people mixed in, that can protect the people before the other people show up. Kind of like something, because these people are in there. It's really bad, man. It's like they're doing petty stuff, but then I'm worried, like, what does this person have a weapon or something? What if one of these people, just starts harming somebody, like, for no reason? These people are just trying to celebrate and have a good time and do whatever they do on their special month and day that they're given by the U.S. government or whatever, right? Um,
But who's motivated to do that? It sure as fuck not media, because if it bleeds, it leads.
well, I'm saying we as people in the community need to be thinking about it like it's in this area on this time. If I can be ready to go down there and protect some people if need be, I need to keep monitoring on it, especially if you live close to there or something. You know what I mean? Be ready to get out and protect the people because the cops is going to protect the fascists. Unless there's politicians or celebrities out there, the cops are going to protect the fascists.
Yeah, but
Um,
it's a snowball going downhill. I mean, there's been close to 30 mass shootings since Uvalde. And the powers that be are fine with this. The more random violence there is, the more people like you just described are going to stay home. The people who think that this is my community, this is bullshit, I don't care if these people are different than me, we're all living here. Fuck off, leave them alone. With all this random violence that is completely unpredictable, those are the people who are going to show caution. Those are the people who are going to say, you know what? I don't think so. Not today.
yeah, that's the thing. We need those people ready to go, just chilling. Like if you're not there and you stay close to there, stay home. Don't go nowhere. But be ready. Like if something happens, be ready to get down there and protect people.
No,
Like this.
when there's lethal force being used, I mean, this isn't the old days. This isn't even like the old River Rouge riots with Pinkertons against striking Ford workers. Yeah, there was some gunfire there, but most of it was hand-to-hand combat. That's not even what it is anymore. If there's a problem at a protest, the chances are that somebody's going to get shot has never been higher. And
Yeah, I mean,
there are
but
people that have the right attitude and the right principles, but they're the ones who see the least sense in exposing yourself to dying for no reason.
it just seems to me that these are the same kind of people that would kill doctors and blow up abortion clinics and shoot doctors up, stab doctors and nurses, and you know what I mean? So they're not, and because they're justified, they did it for God. They have people that think they're heroes when they're locked up, you know? Like, oh, they sacrifice so much to do God's work. It's a dangerous ideology, man. I'm just saying to anybody listening that might live around the Hollywood, West Hollywood area, and you there next weekend when it's going on, be alert. Be ready to protect the people around you. You know, maybe have a little plan just in case for different scenarios. So you and some people could get down there and protect people if needed. And I don't know. It just seems like it's dangerous. And these people are out having a good time. Most of them aren't armed or even worried about anything. But those school kids weren't worried about anything. People in the hospital weren't worried about anything. People in Buffalo were just grocery shopping, man. And it's people going around about their daily lives, especially the celebration or party. There's probably bars and stuff. You know what I mean? Everybody's probably not 1,000% alert. So yeah, be alert for the community on those days. Make sure, I don't know.
But this
Get
is
down there
it.
and film the cops over there. Then you're already there ready to protect people if something jumps off. And you're protecting them from the cops just by aiming the cameras at the police. I don't know. But yeah, something gotta give. These people can't go up in here and just harass people that aren't hurting anybody, celebrating their thing in their own way, doing what they want. The streets are blocked off. Nobody's kids are being forced to go there. So Why are these people there flipping out? Just go somewhere else. You know, go to the Catholic Church headquarters. They seem to have a pedophile problem. Baptists too. There's a whole bunch of people who believe like you that have huge problems with child abuse. Start there. Start in your own house, and people like you clean that out first, and then spread out to all the mythical child abusers. It's just
That's
stupid, man.
that's simply not human nature. That's why. That's simply not human nature. The
Well, you
last place
know,
you look is in your own house. There's
yeah,
always
okay,
somebody else to blame before us.
okay, whatever.
I mean, that's what the environment is. There's always somebody else to blame before us. That's the American way.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like this all across the country. Keep the people safe. Keep the people safe. All the people. But in this instance, they're having a lot of celebrations, so it's kind of like you know where the high target areas are for these people. They're already showing up. There's videos of it. So just
The
make sure
envi-
the people's protected. Make sure your community's protected. That's all. It's pretty simple.
and all they have to do to take that away from the common person is change the price that you may be asked to pay. Things like Charlottesville. Change that environment for good.
How?
Because Heather Heyer was there doing nothing, and she paid with her life because of one random idiot.
Oh yeah.
There,
I
there
mean
are a
that was
lot of
another.
people. There are a lot of people who are just normal people. They may have kids. They may, they're just everyday people. But now, hey, that was an everyday person just like me. They
I
just wanted
believe.
they wanted to stand for what they believe in, just like me, and they paid
Yeah.
with their life.
Yeah.
That's enough to get a percentage of people who have the right idea at heart to say, I ain't going.
No, because yeah, Heather Hair went and she said, "I'm gonna go protect people from these Nazi scum over here." Same thing I'm talking about, and she did it for real. She went out there, and there was a whole bunch of other people that lived. You know, everyone don't always live through anything.
But
People
see,
go, like I
that's
said, they go to the grocery store, they go to a movie theater, they go to school.
but
If
that's
someone's gonna
not
shoot up something, they're gonna shoot up something.
that's not the way Americans have been raised for at least 2 generations. Americans now believe I come first, not the group.
Yeah, or my group comes first, and then I come first
Yeah,
out of my group. Yeah,
exactly. I have safety in my group, but I'm protecting me by being in the group.
yeah.
I mean, this is the issue. When
Mm.
people get randomly killed for no reason, it turns people off better than anything else.
Yeah, it
You
can't be
know?
like that. It can't be like that.
I mean, I have said for years and years, to be full disclosure, I am not allowed in the United States. If I try to enter the United States, there's a very good chance I will be turned around and told to go to fuck home. And I'm
Glenn,
okay with that. I'm okay with that because I have no desire to go to a place where I may just randomly end up dead because somebody's got a fucking problem.
you're not gonna end up dead. You're gonna be with me, Glenn. I'm gonna send a big giant truck with a birthday cake in the back, and then you're gonna be inside the birthday cake, and the cops will never stop her birthday cake. It's a known fact.
Okay.
And then we'll smuggle you back in some maple syrup. Be all right. You're coming, Glenn.
I mean, that is not an accurate description for all of the United States. But from what I see and what I hear, it is a fact that the chance of being randomly killed in public is higher in the United States than pretty much anywhere else in the world, unless you want to go to South Sudan or
Yeah,
Somalia.
but the odds are probably in your favor that it won't be you.
But that's just it. They're odds. Somebody will be that person. And the risk in the
Well,
US is way higher than places like Canada or the United Kingdom or most of the EU, the so-called other civilized places. The US is far and away the most violent so-called democracy on the face of the earth. And that's enough for there to be a lot of people like me. I ain't going to the States. Fuck that. You
hey,
guys are nuts.
At least the U.S. is number one at something, right?
Oh, it's always been number one at that. Always.
Yeah, we got to protect each other. We got to protect the people that live on the streets around us that don't have places to go because the local police departments are taking all the fundage that could be housing people.
Well, again,
Oh
it
wow,
works for them.
what was this in Sacramento? I think I'm not sure. Oh man, I don't know where to look at it right now. But let me see if I can find it. So I think it was Sacramento. Somebody got upset with the sanitation department stealing people's tents and belongings and stuff and working with the police. So they burned a truck. And then they went back and burned all these other trucks. So like they basically burned everything, burned a whole bunch of vehicles the sanitation department uses, just torched them. That's how you do it, man.
Yeah, that might be how you do it, but it's also just temporary.
That's true.
Because it's just going to be more money out of the people's pockets to replace all that shit.
Well, here's the thing. Gas is like 5.80. They said it'd be $7 maybe by the end of summer. You could still afford to do it again and again and again if people pitch in, man. So it might not be as temporary as you think if they just keep it up. The problem is they'll put surveillance on them eventually. You'll have to wait, or it'll be a whole
Exactly.
thing. Yeah, but if there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah, but that also applies to the other side. And they have a
Yeah,
lot more fucking tools, and
yeah.
they can get away with shit. I mean, yeah, I get it. It happened once. If it happens again, somebody going to pay for it, whether they did it or not, because that's
It
the
should
way it works.
it should happen all over the country.
Well, of course it should, but it doesn't.
Yeah,
This is one of the biggest things about being in a fascist state. If it is in the back of your mind that you could die at any point in time, it changes the way you do things every day.
what wouldn't you just eventually get used to it and just move like normal
But what is
and be
normal? Normal has
precautious?
been changed. Normal
I
has been
mean,
changed.
keep a pole in your pocket, and then you don't have to worry about as much. Be like, oh, I don't know if I guess stay away from police, and if you're worried about getting shot, keep a blammer on you. Just I don't know. It just seems like why hide if
Because
you don't?
it's self-preservation. That's why. Again,
Yeah,
this is another thing. Why do they keep promoting this? Oh, get married, have kids, because it gives you things that are an inherent risk. It prevents you from doing other things because that's human nature. If you're a
yeah.
single guy and you want to go cause shit at a protest, that's one thing. If you're a young guy who has a kid or two, you're not going to be as willing as you
Yeah.
might have been when you were single. It's just all part of the mindset that is imposed on people. You know, it's like, yeah,
It,
everybody should be out defending the lesser people in their society. But people are convinced that they have something to lose. This is such a big part of the situation. You could lose. Never mind what could be gained. You could lose.
yeah, I
And
don't know. I was talking.
that's used all the time. And when the police randomly kill people, it's proof that you could lose. You know, this is the
Yeah.
thing. Way too many times. It's just like that people that got shot in the store, in the change room. Well, they were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. That's the dominant narrative that takes over, which is wrong.
That's
The
because the
cop
pig
should,
shot her.
yeah, but the cop should not fucking be there. But they don't want to talk about that. They just want to talk about the loser, the person who lost. That's what becomes important. And
Uh,
remember, it could be you.
I'll tell you what. So far, I've got no comment on where is William Dorsey Jones Jr. when I'm filming these pigs. But we got to wrap the show up. But real quick, I was talking to somebody. I don't remember who. Anyway, so then what happened was we're talking about ending, the mass shootings and the crime, whatever. How do you stop it? Like it's definitely not more policing. What you need is to take care of people. Like we just had a pandemic. Everybody's broke. All the prices are high. Where's that $2,000 a month stimulus Kamala Harris was talking about? And we didn't get that. Why aren't they going after these companies for price gouging right now? All these prices are up artificially. There's gas stations out here that show on the news it's like $9 and $10 a gallon. And they're like, those are just anomalies. Well, they are, but why aren't you shutting them down?
Why
You
aren't
can't. That's definitely price gouging. The other ones down the street aren't that much. No other ones are that much. Shut them down. They put them on the news because it makes it look sensational, and then they can move. Well, at least you weren't at $10 now that we're going towards 7. No, it's
that doesn't
garbage,
serve the
dude.
system? It doesn't serve the system.
Yeah, but you're missing the point. The system's got to serve the people, or the people got to burn down the system. It's just that simple.
Well, that's what should be happening. If there's one station on a street that's $3 a gallon higher than everybody else, then yeah, that place should get burned down.
Yeah,
But it's not.
that's the thing.
Well, it just shows you fascism is winning.
You don't have to burn it down. You can just have people stand around it and block off the streets.
No, 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 no. We're past that.
I
That don't
agree
work
with you.
anymore.
I agree with you, but I'm saying the point would be the government just to shut down, make it illegal to be price gouging and convict and go after people, get convictions on that.
Yeah,
They
but
so
that
worried
would
about
no,
they
that
worried
would
about smash and grab robberies. They worried about someone running in and out of a CVS with 2 bags of pills or something. Won't you worry about these cats robbing the people blind every single day and night, boosting gas prices, boosting food prices, all the, you know what I mean?
well, it pretty
That's
much
price
tells
gouging.
you. Yeah, but it tells you who they are actually there to protect.
Why isn't baby formula free? I don't understand a lot of stuff like that. It's just like, oh, you have to have a baby now or we're gonna lock you in prison for murder, but you can't get no baby formula.
Well, that's your problem.
Yeah, it's just crazy, man. It's ridiculous.
This is what fascism is. It's turning the entire society to benefit one part of that society. And if you won't cooperate, then you're an enemy of the state.
Man, people in the US need to imagine what we could have if our tax dollars was going to us, both federally and locally, instead of the police departments and the military, corporate welfare, other countries, fascism, um, funding Nazis abroad. It's, there's things we need here. There's people suffering here. If you love soldiers so much, there's a whole, I can't even count how many, tens of thousands, probably hundreds of thousands of veterans that are doing really bad, living in tents, not being able to afford anything. So I mean, if that's your thing, help them. Be patriotic. But they're gonna take all this money and give it to everything but the people that paid that whose money it is. Some jackass on their YouTube was talking about homeless people can't live off our tax dollars. They don't pay taxes. What are you talking about? So many of these people work. When you buy something in California, you pay taxes.
Exactly.
Oh man.
But it doesn't fit their narrative, so it doesn't exist. And when the government itself has the same mentality, how do you expect anybody else to follow?
Yeah. That's why our gas is higher taxes. They could stop that tax, but they're not going to.
It's got fuck all to do with taxes. That's bullshit. I mean, I'll
No, I'm
tell you
saying
what's going
California,
on.
on top of the price, has a gas tax added onto the high price, is what I'm telling you. That's why we're
Yeah,
higher than most other places.
yeah, that's fine. And that's been there for fucking 30
Oh,
years,
yeah.
40 years.
Yeah. It's just increased a little, though.
But I mean, it's just like the bullshit up here. The problem is governments have said the pandemic's over because all the people who pay for us to get elected are tired of not making money. So now it's over. Don't worry about it. We're not going to report it anymore. People are dying at a higher rate than ever up here, but apparently COVID is
Mm.
over. But the
Yeah.
problem is all these corporations, they missed out on revenue for 2 years. Well, they want it all back and they want it now. So they're going to let them run around and jack everything up and create false shortages. And what happened up here was the fascist government says, oh, we feel your pain. We will no longer collect the provincial tax on gas. So that's billions of dollars that the government no longer collects. And where would that money go? It would go to keep roads safe. It would go to maintain the infrastructure. So now not only are we not taking in money to pave roads, to build new roads, we are just saying, oh, we did our part. We don't know why the price hasn't moved at all. The reality of it is they're telling the oil companies, we're not going to take tax. So that margin, that's yours now. You can make even more. You can get back all that money you missed during the pandemic. And we're all down with it. Carry on. So, it doesn't matter anymore. You're going to get gouged for what they decide to gouge you. The government is not there to protect you. The government is there to enable this with their power. And the only way you can opt out is to not use those products or use as little of them as you possibly can. And for most people, they either can't or won't. They'll just buck up, pay the inflated rates, and bitch.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I'm saying, just for the regular people, boycott. You can shut a gas station down with enough people protesting the prices. You can protest different stores and stuff. You can even let people go in and out, just protest. I don't know, just bring attention to it or something, because this is something that's just ridiculous. They shouldn't let this happen.
But
I
they
mean,
do.
why that they went off on some some dude that was trying to sell. I don't know. He bought masks or lotion or something during or toilet. I don't know what it was. He bought something during the pandemic that was hard to get and was trying to sell it for like triple, and they arrested him. That was good. You should arrest these corporations the same way that are doing it. These oil executives should have been in cuffs long ago, but definitely now. I
But
mean, I
see,
would think
that's
people would, go with it now because it affects them finally.
no, but that's just a matter of scale. If you're a corporation and you want to rip off your consumer base, that's one thing. If you're an independent, no, that's not allowed.
Yeah, you don't donate to the party enough money.
Exactly. There's nothing that we get out of you ripping off the public. If you cut
Yeah.
us in, well, maybe. Everybody wants their points.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. You got anything else, or you want to wrap it up?
Oh, I think we've spewed enough disdain for one show.
Yeah, I think you're right. So yeah, I just put last week's show up today, so I guess I'm a week behind on them. Maybe I'll try to get quicker. Um, see what my schedule looks like and how I feel about it. I'm trying to do these police videos too, so I've been trying to get those up. There's so many, man. It's just, it's terrible. I should have posted them when I shot them, but I wasn't planning on posting them. There's the thing, so it didn't really matter.
Backlog is backlog.
Oh yeah, so real quick before we go, I think I'm like at on the YouTube channel, People's Radio United. We're almost 800. Maybe we're like 12 away or something. So like, if anyone's listening still, tell your friends, tell your mama, tell your fam bam, tell your hoodsters, tell everybody, tell your coworkers. I don't know, tell everybody to follow, subscribe to us on YouTube on People's Radio United, so I could start live streaming again, and then the videos are just up as I shoot them. I think I can live stream in 360. I'm not sure though. It'll probably be crappy quality until it renders or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, like all my cameras can live stream, and it would be nice to be able to do that. So yeah, follow the YouTube, please. I appreciate it. We're getting so close. And thank you, Glenn. And I guess that's it.